Alright, welcome back. This is Sonic Lightning, and we're going to be playing some Resident Evil. This is the first one actually re-released on Steam. It's an HD remaster of the, not necessarily the original, but the remake for the Gamecube. There have been a few things added. If you were paying attention there's a mode that you can now play, where you actually have free control of the character instead of tank controls. It's an interesting... I could probably show it off a bit. I like still playing with the tank controls. I think they're a little bit better. While this plays out, I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what's changed. Well, first of all, you may have noticed costumes for Resident Evil 5 characters now you can use. The BSAA outfit for Jill and the BSAA outfit for Chris. I gotta tell you, I'm mad excited that they put that in. I really do like their new looks. Of course, there's the, what I told you, the change in the controls, that you can use the free running controls or the tank controls. And then there's the HD update, of course. 128 by 920 resolution now, 60 frames per second you can run it at. As opposed to the original, which was the 4:3 aspect ratio. 30 frames per second.
Save for the remaining body of Kevin.
And like I said, anyways, let's give a little backstory for the game. This is based off of the remake of the first Resident Evil for the PlayStation 1. This is based off of a remake that was made for that one that was made for the Gamecube. In all intents, the Gamecube 1 and the PlayStation 1 really are the same storyline, same characters, same everything. The difference being is that there's a lot more content, 3D models. Well, there was 3D models in the original, but it's a lot more crisp, a lot more... It looks a lot nicer, all that, you know. All in all, I think that they did a fantastic job on the GameCube remake. And then, of course, for Steam recently, if you guys use that platform, was the HD Remaster, which is what we're playing right here. For this, I'm going to be using a PlayStation 4 controller. I'm not going to be using keyboard, so I can't say how well the keyboard controls really work. I feel like this game really requires a controller, though. I can't imagine using it with a keyboard and mouse. But if you can manage it, or if you don't have a controller, I guess you have no other choice. But yeah. Since I talked over a lot of the beginning storyline here, let me give a little background on what's going on for those people who don't know the Resident Evil series. So, the Alpha... Was this Alpha or Bravo? This is Alpha. Alpha team was called out to Raccoon City. Well, they work in Raccoon City. They were called out to the Raccoon Forest, where there was some strange experiments going on. Your team consists of Jill, Chris, Wesker, and Barry, and then I forgot that guy's name who just got eaten there. I think it's Joseph. And the pilot, Brad, who, as we can see right here, is flying off without them, because he is a wimp. And they're called out here to check out strange things that have been going on in the forest. Well, they get attacked, Joseph dies, Brad flies off, leaving Jill, Chris, Barry, and Wesker out for themselves. From there, really, that's where the storylines deviate. Either you play as Chris, where most of the storyline revolves around him making it through, who he runs later into Rebecca, or you play as Jill, where you play together with Barry. We're going to be playing Jill's storyline. The major differences being between the two characters. Jill has more carrying space. Starts with a
What is this place?
Starts with a lockpick, which is extremely helpful. And overall, she takes more damage, but the positives definitely outweigh the negatives for Jill. Chris gets only 6 spaces, more health, higher critical hit ratio. Arguably, the flash grenades are a better defensive option than the stun gun, but that's a matter of opinion. He also only starts with a knife and no gun, which is ridiculously stupid. Yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing the Jill storyline. I'm going to be using the BSA outfit just because I want to check it out in this new version. I'm interested to see how it looks. And this is where the story begins, and I haven't played this in a while, although I did mess around for a bit. I got all the way up to the second. I got two 2 of the masks. You'll see those later. And so I have played a bit, but I haven't played like all the way through yet of this HD remaster. So I'm gonna probably forget a few things, and I'll probably run around like an idiot sometimes. Not like I don't do that already. But
you better take a look at this.
What is it?
We'll start out there. As you saw, my inventory right now consists of a pistol with 15 rounds. I don't try to use bullets very much. Knife, which I'm going to get rid of as soon as possible, and ink ribbons, which is the only way to save. So at the current moment, the storyline really is running at that they're trying to figure out where Chris is, because they got separated. They don't know where Chris ran off to or where he's at, and Jill and Barry trying to find him out. So this is where we run into our first zombie. Back in the, if you ever played the original PS1, you'll definitely notice that this one is a definite improvement over the original counterpart. The zombie has its own CGI cutscene this time, and instead of fighting him, we're just gonna run away. Because you don't need to waste bullets on this guy, because Barry will gladly waste his bullets for you.
Barry!
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it.
I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite Resident Evils. I still like Resident Evil 5 and 4 a little better, but in the old school Resident Evils, the original Gamecube remake was definitely my favorite.
I found Kenneth killed by
Although I
this
was
thing.
never the best at it.
Let's report this to Wesker.
Now we gotta go back to Wesker. In case you were curious, the zombie got up and walked out of the room. It's a bit hard to hear. And because I had the sound a bit down, you wouldn't have heard it anyways. You may have.
Wesker! Jill, help me look for him. Let's not leave this hall.
Good idea.
Now we gotta find out where Wesker went. Now where could he have gone? Let's just go up the stairs and then immediately go back down and say that we checked upstairs. Don't worry, Barry will never know.
Barry.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing.
I'd also like to point out that gun that Barry is carrying is actually the strongest weapon in the game.
Chris and now Wesker.
And we do have an opportunity to get it later. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is an opportunity to get it later. I'm going to refuse it, though.
Okay, then. I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first door.
I will be showing all the storylines just because. So there's going to be a lot of points where there's not going to be much going on, just storyline stuff.
Thanks. I may need it.
And that's the lockpick right there. What the difference here between Jill and Chris is that if you're playing as Chris, you're not going to see this item pop up, but there's an item called a small key. It just looks like a key with a little round hook on it, and you can use it to open up random doors that have simple locks in the mansion. With Jill, you don't need to worry about that. Jill has a lockpick and will automatically open any door that has that specification on it. With Chris, however, he has to have the small keys. If he does not have the small keys, he will not be able to open any of those doors. Which is already a bummer, because Chris already lacks 2 spaces as it is, and then you have to take up 1 more just to have the key. Just to have the random keys. Alright. I usually don't go back here, but just for shits and giggles, let's go ahead and go back here. If you're curious, by the way, right here is where a clothing room is. Once I beat the game, I don't know, I might check and show you the costumes later, but that's where you get the second costumes. And right there is a dagger. If you never played the original Resident Evil, and played the original remake, if you only played the original Resident Evil on the PS1, those never existed. What those do now is that if you get caught by a zombie, I'm going to try not to here, I'm going to see if I can slip by him and keep the dagger. Nope, okay, I didn't. You can do that. Basically, you can use them to stop yourself from taking damage. I was hoping to keep the dagger there, but whatever. It's not a big deal. There'll be plenty more. Jill also gets battery packs, which she can use to charge up her taser. Tasers automatically knock the zombies down and really don't do any damage. Well, they do damage. They just don't do as much as Chris's flashbangs. Sorry about that. My throat's kind of stuffed up today. Alright, so now that I've gotten the map, I tried to get the dagger and failed horribly. Now we're going to move on to the left part of the mansion, which is where we begin. Right here, right now, is just a straightforward pathway. There's no real way to move forward at all. That right there is film that belongs to Kenneth. I can view it later, all the way towards the end of the game. I'll be doing that. But anyways, right now it's a straightforward pathway because there's a bunch of keys you need, and there's no other way to take except for this way. There's a handgun magazine. I'm going to skip those herbs for now. Those are the healing items of the game. I'll come back from later. They're going to take up space, and I don't want to do that. I'm trying to remember the exact layout of this mansion. I'm not 100% sure what it was again. Oh, that guy on the floor. We'll be getting very, very close to him later. Okay, I'm going to need this arrow right here. This will allow me to get into the backyard. I'll examine it in just a sec. I don't know if there's a zombie here. Oh, okay, not on this difficulty. Just as for the record, I think I'm playing on either easy or normal. I'm playing on the middle difficulty. I think it's easy. There's a very easy option too, which is ridiculously easy. Let's go check this out. I'm going to need to take this tip off. And now I've gotten rid of the shaft, and I use this in a second to open a door. Well, I'll go for the statue later. The statue holds a gem. I can get myself some shotgun shells. Of course, I'll be taking the game's opportunity to grab them, just not at the moment. I don't believe there's any zombies out here, so I can safely move around. I don't remember what's changed to the difficulties. Let's grab this really quick, because later on I believe a zombie is just standing right here. He won't attack you unless you go that way. Now this is where we use the arrowhead. This is pretty much most of the puzzle of the game, just taking items from point A to point B, usually putting them in a certain place. Alright. Book of Curses. Now this is where we're going to get our first key. These keys, this one I believe is the sword key. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's right. Sword key first, and this will allow me into multiple different rooms. Book of Curses, I'm just going to skip this because it's nothing really important. Well, it is important if you've never played the game before, but I already know what it's going to basically tell me is I'm going to be basically in this point of the game now, looking for 4 masks that go right around here. I'm getting one that has no eyes, one that has no mouth, one that has no nose, and then one that doesn't have any of them. So, and then I put them in the correct place. That tomb that was hanging up there will fall, and I'll fight a super enemy. We'll be seeing that later. So right now, I'm just going to go mosey around the mansion, collect some items, probably, and then I'll be looking for the mess. The important thing to notice is that there's 4 keys that you get within this game. You get a sword, a shield, a helmet, and an armor key. The only one that's really only useful at one time is the helmet key, which opens exactly 1 door, and that's it. I'm definitely not going to be trying speedrunning this. I just have a good idea of where I'm going already. Probably should have actually gone the other way so I could get the kerosene. And that's what I'm talking about right there. See how she used the lockpick? Normally with Chris you would need to find a small key, and that would open the door. I'll just open this door now so that I can get in here later. Actually, I'm gonna go the other direction. It's not exactly the most exciting game, but it definitely increases the tension because this game's... If you've ever only played Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, and anything like after 4, basically, you're probably not going to be used to the idea of having to conserve ammo. Well, maybe in 4, but only in the beginning. But in 1, it's all about ammo conservation. You have to save your ammo. You have to choose your battles. You can't just haphazardly run around and shoot things. Doing that is the quickest way to run out of resources, and let me tell you, when you're stuck with only a knife, you might as well restart. It's not even worth it. Grab the dog whistle, there we go. That's basically telling me to go use the dog whistle on the that outside area we were just at. That lighter... The lighter is a very, very important item, and you will see in just a second how important it really is. Now this is where Chris's difference comes in. And now that lighter, with Jill, you have to use a separate slot to hold it. Come on, dude, I know you're not dead. Get out. With Jill, you have to use a separate slot to open it. And with Chris, you actually have it in the place where the is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. Where the lockpick would be. So instead of a lockpick, Chris basically always has a lighter on him. Now, why is it so good to have a random lighter on you all the time? Well, let me show you. Now, you may have noticed I just killed that zombie out there. Now, in any other game, you killed the zombie, whoop-de-doo, good for you, you know? In this game, it's different. If you don't burn zombie bodies after you kill them, the zombies get up and become more aggressive and start slashing you and start chasing you and kill you if you're not careful. So you'll see one of those later. I'll be fighting one of those later. Menu buttons X. So what you do to counteract that is you use the lighter and the kerosene to burn them, like that. And let me tell you, that is extremely important, like I said, because they turn into these things called Crimson Heads. And just as I explained like a second ago, Crimson Heads are no joke, and that was a stupid decision of me not to move. He's dead. Crimson Heads are no joke. You do not want any of them walking around. So I'm just going to kill these two in this room because this is a safe hallway that I want to keep coming back to, and it's probably a good idea I get rid of them. Plus, he's right in front of another door that's hard to get through unless I kill him first. Alright, let me fill the kerosene back up. Each one of these things right here, they're scattered around, and they have about as much use for 5 uses. Sorry, I blanked on there for a second what I was even saying. It's always essential to carry the handgun with you. Bullets, however, on the other hand, is not always essential to carry. Like I said, this is a very heavy inventory management game. You only carry what you need to carry at the time. Now, there's an item I passed back here just a second ago. I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to get myself the level 2 map. In the stupidest way I've ever seen. I'm going to use this right here, just a random piece of wood. Head back this way. I'm going to head down this way instead. Instead of going down the stairs, I'm going to head down the hallway, and I'm going to go to the room all the way at the end. Now I'm just dictating exactly what I'm doing. What am I even trying to do here? So, you want to know how you get the second story map? Do you go and find a piece of paper? No, what you do is you put a wooden mount up, And you set the chimney on fire, and it turns into a map. Yay. That made about as much sense as it probably did to you. I gotta tell you, I had no idea how to get that in the beginning. That made 0 sense to me. I'm gonna grab these herbs. You got 2 different kinds here. Green herbs, which heal a little bit of health, and red herbs, which do nothing on their own, but when combined with green herbs... Oops, wrong button. Wrong button again. They become an instant heal. And later on, there's going to be another herb called the blue herb, which neutralizes poison. If combined with the green, it'll heal and neutralize poison, and if combined with the red and a green, it becomes a super potion, which will give you a slight boost for a bit. Like, not even that long. It's really not worth using it just for the boost. It's really just a good heal and a good booster right after. You have 2 choices. Either you can have a green and red, blue, 3 greens, 2 greens, 2 greens and a blue, or a green and a blue. I'm going to carry those just with me for a little bit longer because there's a few more zombies I do want to get rid of before I start moving safely around. Alright, now before the next part, of course, I need to get the shotgun. So the next order of business is to obtain the shotgun. I'm not going to tame it right now because, well, maybe I will actually. I'll do it in a minute. You'll see why in a second. Why I was thinking about it. Alright, so here's another different change. Now, for Jill, we're going to see this cutscene. And for Chris, what would happen instead when the zombie pops out? You would actually fight it as Chris. But as Jill, it just plays out this cutscene. Which I will just be quiet for, I guess. I got nothing else really to say. Jill just threw up in the toilet, right? Doesn't look like it's been in service for a while. Huh. Then I guess she apparently didn't throw up. Anyways, there's just a dagger in there. That's it. Moving on. How much space do I got? Probably not enough right now. Actually, I might have enough. I need to grab something out from out here right now so that I can use it later. Of course, if I'm not fast, though, doggies will jump over fences and maul my face. The good thing is, though, 3 red herbs and a green herb and 2 green herbs. Hooray! Can use these to make some good healing items. Guess I did have enough room, actually. Good. Okay, and then this is what I need right here. Herbicide. Or chemical on plants. Whatever. Okay, now, I am not coming back out there again, because when the next time I come out there, there will be doggies. And doggies are not good for this game. If you think doggies are nice, then you have never played Resident Evil. I'm gonna go drop these items off, and then I'll go in there. And probably after that I'll call it there. And then call for part 1. Because I'm going to need some room, because once I go in there, I'm not going to be able to go back. So, while I'm getting everything ready to go here, an interesting thing about the Resident Evil series, the first one at least, was its save system. Unlike what you would expect of most common save systems nowadays, you know, just at your leisure you can do it when you want. Usually there's a save point, sometimes you can save whenever you want. This game actually had limited saves, which added even more to the suspense of what you had to do. You had whatever ink ribbons you had, and once you're out of ink ribbons, well, guess what? You couldn't save until you found more. Definitely made you think twice about saving, I'll say that much. So I'm going to make these parts a bit longer, because I got to make sure I stretch them out so I can keep my ink ribbons. No. Well, there's some more ink ribbons right there. Speak of the devil. I've already got 9, so that means I have 9 saves, but after that, guess what? No more saves. Now, here's the shotgun. The shotgun will do us some good for now, but we're not going to be using it for the whole game. Now, this is why I was talking about why I didn't want to just walk in here immediately and make sure I had enough space, because if you don't get an item that you're supposed to get and bring it in there, this happens. Now, Chris's storyline, this would be it. You pretty much just stand there until you die, but Jill's storyline actually has an interesting thing that you can do. You can check both doors,
Oh God.
run back to the middle,
What
and
did I
then
do
this
now?
happens. I'm sure most of you remember this from the original PS1 is the infamous Jill Sandwhich storyline.
You in there?
Fortunately, you're not going to hear that this time because they changed
The
this
door's
voice
jammed.
acting.
Stand back! Grab my hand!
Barry.
That was a close one. A second late, you would have fit nicely into a sandwich.
Really? Thanks. But Barry, didn't you say you were going back to the dining room to find other clues? I'm glad and all, but why are you here?
I just had something I wanted to check. Anyway, we should get back to searching for Wesker and Chris.
You'll see why
Thanks,
Barry's
Barry.
acting so strange.
I owe you one.
Don't mention it.
It didn't appear on the recording, but I just got a achievement called "What a Guy." Probably because Barry saved me. I actually didn't do that before. See, what you're supposed to do is on the right side of the mansion, you're supposed to find a broken shotgun, and when you grab the real shotgun, you're supposed to replace it with the broken. I didn't. And like I said, if that had been Chris, that would have just been game over right there. But since I'm Jill, I can have Barry save me. Actually, I want to hold on to this shotgun for right now. Okay, so actually, that's set up just fine. Alright, so this is going to be the end of part 1. This game does start out a bit slow. I'll just say my original. This game does start out a bit slow, but it really begins to pick up later, especially when stuff like hunters get involved. For the beginning parts, it's going to be a lot of running around, grabbing stuff, and, you know, all that good stuff. But once we get past the first part of the mansion, that's where things really start to begin to pick up, where we get to start to see more enemies, more dangerous enemies, more bosses, and overall the puzzles start to begin to get harder. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you want to see more, you know, hit the subscribe button. If you got something to say right in the comments. I also appreciate a like or a dislike if you hated this video. If you hated it, let me know what I did wrong and maybe what I could improve on. Anyways, this is Sonic Lightning signing out. Thanks for watching. Like I said, subscribe for more. Hopefully we'll get these out a bit faster. And if anyone's curious, Five Nights at Freddy's will be happening soon. If I got time, I'll probably record it right after this. Anyways, thanks for watching. But see you later.